Center for Energy presents the 7th edition of ASEAN Energy Outlook, or AEO7. It complements the APAEC by creating pathways to achieve regional energy targets. This blueprint consists of 7 program areas, which represents the key focus areas of the ASEAN energy sector. Over the years, ASEAN Energy Outlook has evolved to be truly from ASEAN, by ASEAN, to ASEAN. As it incorporates major involvement from all 10 ASEAN member states in every process, AEO7 serves as an official reference for the ASEAN energy landscape. This year, AEO7 features these 4 scenarios. Introducing the latest edition, the least cost optimization scenario with a technology-neutral approach as it considers all the viable technologies in the region. It also explores ASEAN power grid and battery deployment. Some highlighted findings include renewable share in total primary energy supply is predicted to reach 17.5% by 2025 in ATS, requiring extra efforts to reach regional targets. And energy efficiency is projected to continue its good progress. But with 2.8% point gap from ATS to regional target still needs to be addressed, while renewable share in installed capacity is expected to outperform the 2025 target by 2.9%, even reaching 63.2% in 2050. Moreover, the region will be requiring $160 billion power investment to reach the APAEC target by 2025. Reducing the emission up to 26%. While LCO scenario consistently generate the lowest cost. The outlook also offers various secondary analysis to achieve the regional target and delve into options for strengthening ASEAN's energy resiliency as follows. With everything in one place, AEO7 keeps the region on track by projecting multiple future trajectories against our goal. To learn more about ASEAN Energy Outlook series, please visit our website at aseanenergy.org.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for your kind attentions and your participations for today's event. So I would like to welcome you once again to the AEO7 webinar series. AEO stands for the ASEAN Energy Outlook 7, in which one of the flagship report of ASEAN Center for Energy, or ACE. And today we are actually taking the theme of energy priorities for ASEAN economic development, as well as celebrating International Women's Month. Therefore, we have a full panel of women today. And then we are going to have several informations before we begin our webinar sessions for today. Please, next. I mentioned before about ASEAN Energy Outlook 7 that you can actually download it already. And here you can actually scan the barcode, or you can actually go directly to your website, go.aseanenergy.org/AEO7. And then if you want to take a brief look of the AEO7, you can actually also check the AEO7 executive summary in AEO7 Exome. And then this flagship publication has been launched last year in the 14 ASEAN ministers on energy meetings. And we are gladly to share with you another angle, another perspective every month. So this kind of webinar would actually be continued already for the third time already. So we are looking forward to have another webinar as well. So stay tuned on our social media for more informations. Next. And then before quiz time, I would like to share with you just a glimpse of what is actually AEO7. So I would like to ask our ICT team to show a brief video of what is actually AEO7.
ASEAN Center for Energy presents the 7th edition of ASEAN Energy Outlook, or AEO7. It complements the APAEC by creating pathways to achieve regional energy targets. This blueprint consists of 7 program areas, which represents the key focus areas of the ASEAN energy sector. Over the years, ASEAN Energy Outlook has evolved to be truly from ASEAN, by ASEAN, to ASEAN. As it incorporates major involvement from all 10 ASEAN member states in every process, AEO7 serves as an official reference for the ASEAN energy landscape. This year, AEO7 features these 4 scenarios. Introducing the latest edition, the least cost optimization scenario with a technology-neutral approach as it considers all the viable technologies in the region. It also explores ASEAN power grid and battery deployment. Some highlighted findings include renewable share in total primary energy supply is predicted to reach 17.5% by 2025 in ATS, requiring extra efforts to reach regional targets. And energy efficiency is projected to continue its good progress. But with 2.8% point gap from ATS to regional target still needs to be addressed, while renewable share in installed capacity is expected to outperform the 2025 target by 2.9%, even reaching 63.2% in 2050. Moreover, the region will be requiring 160 billion USD power investment to reach the APAEC target by 2025. Reducing the emission up to 26%. While LCO scenario consistently generate the lowest cost. The outlook also offers various secondary analysis to achieve the regional target and delve into options for strengthening ASEAN's energy resiliency as follows. With everything in one place, AEO7 keeps the region on track by projecting multiple future trajectories against our goal. To learn more about ASEAN Energy Outlook series, please visit our website at aseanenergy.org.
So that is actually about AEO7. And before we begin, another activities that we are providing to you all participants is that a quiz time. I know I think the answer is quite easy, relatively easy if you pay attention to the previous videos. So allow me to just invite you to participate in this quiz time. So there will be like 2 questions, and let's get into the first one. May I ask our team to provide the first questions? So the first questions, I would give you roughly 15 seconds to answer. The question is, what is not ASEAN energy target by 2025? So the options here, we have 23% of renewable share in TPES, 30% renewable share in total final energy consumption, or TFEC, 35% in renewable share in installed capacity, and then 32% of energy intensity reductions. So probably 5 seconds to go. So we are inviting all our participants today to answer this question. 3, 2, 1. May I ask our team to provide the answers? Okay, so apparently Apparently some of you still got it wrong, but no worries. I think this webinar today would actually enlighten you as well on that. There will be a presentation as well by Rika Safrina as well to elaborate what is actually the energy targets and list it out. Actually, the answer is the second one, which is a 30% of renewable share in TFEC. So let's just get into the next question. Okay, so this next question asks, which topic is not included among energy priorities for Indonesia's ASEAN Chairmanship 2023? So as you know, Indonesia this year take the baton from Cambodia on November 2022, last year in Phnom Penh, to hand it over this Indonesia's chairmanships that is led by Indonesia this year. So I'll give you another 5 seconds to answer. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, yeah, I'm glad no one actually put the majority options on the other things, definitely, because the question is about energy priorities. Actually, food security also been mentioned in the priorities, economic deliverables as well by Indonesia, but it's not related to energy. And then because we know now that electric vehicle, ecosystem, power interconnections, as well as sustainable energy security is something that will be discussed today. So hopefully this quiz could actually like a brain storming as well on the sessions for today. Next, please. And before we begin, I would like to invite all of the speakers for today, honorable speakers that we have, to turn on your camera because we are going to take pictures together. May I ask our team to turn down, okay, the PPT phrase and. Okay, may I ask our colleague to take the picture, please?
Okay, I will be taking the picture.
Yes.
In the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Another one,
Okay.
please.
Let me take another one.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Johan. Thank you. So I know that it's been like a long introductions, but I think it would be great, you know, to kind of like better understand what is actually the ASEAN energy targets, which previously some of you answered wrong. So hopefully this session could actually be fruitful for you and then insightful as well. So without further ado, I would like to invite our technical officers from the Energy Modeling and Policy Planning Department of ACE, Rika Safrina. The time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amira. Good afternoon from Jakarta. My name is Rika Safrina, an Energy Modeling and Policy Planning Officer of ACE. I would like to present about foreseeing the achievements of ASEAN energy targets based on the 7 ASEAN Energy Outlook. Just a brief introduction about AEO7 again. In this outlook, ACE has achieved a huge milestone by performing up to 100% of modeling works in-house, cementing ACE status as ASEAN Energy Think Tank and embodying the spirit from ASEAN by ASEAN to ASEAN. So continuing from the previous outlooks, AEO7 projects the baseline scenario, which is based on the historical trends without any policy interventions. The second scenario called ATS, or National Target Scenario, which implements national official policies, especially on PDP, EE, and RE. The third scenario is APS, or Regional Target Scenario, which seeks to fill the gap between national and regional targets. The aspirational target set in the APAEC includes, this was in the quiz before, 32% EI reduction from 2005 level, 23% RE share in TPS, and 35% RE share in installed power capacity. So the answer about total final energy consumption was wrong. So, and then AEO7 also introduced LCO as the fourth scenario. It applies the least cost optimization using technology neutral approach. Currently, it is a separate scenario in power system, but the future AO might implement optimization for the whole model. Some improvements from the previous IO, among others, include 3 additional historical years up to 2020 and additional 10 projection years to 2050. So, in line with the rapid economic growth, regional energy demand is expected to triple that of 2020 levels by 2050, as shown in these 2 graphs. The left graph shows sectoral energy consumption, while the right side is by fuel. The national efficiency measures in ATS will help to greatly reduce the demand, but with stronger regional efforts in APS, the avoided energy consumption could reach 53.7% in 2050 compared to baseline. As you can see here, industry and transport are the highest energy consuming sectors in the region. In terms of fuel, oil products remain the largest to be consumed, with 47% share in 2050 baseline and reduced to 38% in APS for the same year. Following oil is the electricity demand, although the value is reduced, but the shares increased from 20% to 27% in APS due to bigger reductions in the fossil fuel consumption. Transportation sector is still dominated by oil products during the projection period, about 91% of share in 2050 baseline, which is decreased to 72% in APS. All fuels are reduced with slight increase of electricity for electric vehicles. So one of the ways to reduce fossil fuels consumption in the transportation sector is through electrification. Overall, ASEAN could reach about 641 million vehicles, all vehicles, not necessarily EV, 641 million vehicles by 2050, contributed largely by motorcycles and private cars. Therefore, shifting to electric car and electric motorcycles could provide significant reduction in transport fossil fuels demand. Almost all MS are in an early stage of EVs adoption, but some countries already set ambitious targets, such as Thailand, who plans to achieve 30% EV by 2030, and Singapore, who aims for 100% cleaner energy public bus fleet and taxis by 2040. In the residential sector, cooking takes up an average of 43% of energy consumption for baseline ATS and APS, as you can see in the left graph. It means shifting away from the use of traditional biomass into more gas and electric cooking is essential to reduce energy intensity and greenhouse gas emissions in residential sector. Clean cooking coupled with energy efficiency policies in air conditioning and refrigeration can reduce energy demand up to 29% for APS in 2050 compared to the baseline. In order to achieve APAEC target, there should be reduction in the household consumption of all fuels, especially LPG, wood, and charcoal, but an increase in electricity, such as using more efficient electric stoves. Clean cooking will lead to less dependence on imported fuel, but more importantly, for the house, enhance residential welfare due to the less indoor pollution. In terms of industrial sector, the highest energy user in industry is non-metallic mineral, followed by chemical and iron and steel. High percentage of non-specified demand, about 31%, means it needs proper allocation to properly establish more effective energy efficiency and conservation policies and programs. Energy demand for industry may reach up to 544 MTOE by 2050 based on baseline scenario. With the attainment of national energy efficiency and conservation policies, this demand may be reduced to 351 MTOE. However, it was not enough to achieve the regional target. Doubling the national effort is needed and would result to energy demand of 252 MTOE. In terms of electricity, as the needs of installed capacity decrease due to energy efficiency, clean energy penetrates the power system. This can be seen clearly in the shift of installed capacity from coal and other fossil fuels to all types of renewable energy, including hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, and bioenergy. In the longer term, in 2050, overall installed capacity will be reduced by as much as 25% in APS, primarily due to the phasing out policies in several AMS. As part of installed capacity target, continuing national efforts would lead to the achievement of regional target 37.9% of RE in 2025. In APS, the share can even reach 41.5%. In the long term, a maximum of 63.2% RE share can be achieved. Moving on to energy supply, AEO7 produced various pathways of potential energy system in the region in a more realistic way. Fueling the increasing energy demand, energy supply continues to grow, reaching four times of energy from 2020 to 2050 in baseline scenario. Importance of energy efficiency is shown, which reduced the energy supply to 3 times in ATS and 2.7 times in APS. In all scenarios, fossil fuels remain the largest component, but the share of RE is increasing. The APS shifted the energy mix away from coal, oil, and natural gas, and we see more solar, wind, biomass, and geothermal. ASEAN has been a net importer of oil since before 2005. In baseline scenario, without significant discoveries and without additions to existing production infrastructures, ASEAN would become net importer of natural gas from 2025 and coal from 2039. It should also be noted that such futures can also be avoided by increasing the reserves and production capacity. With increasing share of RE in the energy mix and implementation of energy efficiency and conservation measures, ASEAN would remain net exporter of coal during the projection period. In APS, gas net import will delay for another 1 year to 2026, and oil net import can be reduced by 34% in 2050 compared to the baseline. So achieving the APAEC targets can enhance the region's import dependency and energy security in the future. So there are 2 additional regional targets concerning TPS. The first one is 32% energy intensity reduction by 2025 from 2005 levels, as measured by the ratio of TPS to GDP. In 2020, EI reduction made a good progress and reached 23.8% due to the economic contraction caused by the pandemic. The analysis shows that if the AMS achieve national energy target or ATS, ASEAN will substantially progress in reducing EI by 29.2% in 2025. However, those gains are insufficient to meet the regional EI reduction target in APAEC. This indicates existing national policies may not necessarily result in achieving the APAEC target. At this pace, the 2025 target would only be reached around 2028. The other target is 23% RE in TPS. Although RE in installed power capacity will be likely achieved, but not so much with RE in TPS. RE share in TPS reached 14.2% in 2020. The same trend of national policy would result in 17.5% of share in 2025. There is 5.5% gap of the aspirational target. So each AMS has its own strategy to accelerate the RE efforts depending on the availability of potential resources. For example, Singapore promotes innovative measures to increase solar rooftop, or Vietnam is pushing offshore wind generation. So based on the findings in the previous slides, these are several recommendations to do to meet the APAEC regional targets in the demand side. First, higher EV targets and establishment of transportation electrification policies are needed to shift the fuel in transportation sector away from fossil fuels. Other than EV, fuel economy and mass public transportation could ramp up the efforts in transport as one of the largest demand consumers. And then in the residential sector, the member states need to increase their clean cooking access using biogas or electricity. As of 2020, approximately 30% of the total ASEAN population still rely on traditional cooking, such as wood, tree leaf, crop waste, and charcoal. It will require more effort to achieve 100% penetration by 2030 as targeted by SDG 7. Next, with the electricity consumption is rising, a higher energy saving could be achieved through the use of more efficient cooling and lighting appliances by implementing minimum energy performance standards or MEPS and electrical equipment labeling. Finally, energy saving strategies in the industrial sector, policies that promote efficient use of materials, raw materials with improved durability, multi-use and reuse material can potentially reduce overall demand. Policies mandating specific energy saving targets, training, audits, and access to capital are all deemed effective in advancing industrial energy efficiency. In the supply side, among the key barriers are existing power purchase agreements that prioritize the dispatch of the generation capacity from plants under contract and the limited abilities of the grid network for high uptake of renewables. So technical and regulatory aspects of dispatch management, such as smarter and more flexible grid infrastructure interconnection, are required to address higher penetration of renewable energy in the future, along with digitalization of the energy system. The region may also enhance the dispatchability of RE, like expansion of smaller scale hydropower to support rural electrification, coupling with floating solar plants or wind with hydropower generation. Direct use of RE in the end user sectors may have as much impact as its deployment for electricity generation in achieving APAEC targets. The use of geothermal energy for process heating would also be attractive, since several member states have potential for geothermal. This is also in addition to establish application of biogas for clean cooking and biofuel in transportation for bioenergy. So summary and policy recommendations, the analysis showed that despite progress in 2020, accelerated efforts are required to reach the EI reduction target and RE in TPS targets of ASEAN. In power sector, it is crucial to ensure RE penetration that goes beyond capacity and get translated to higher generation. All RE options should be optimized. For variable renewable energy, storage should be developed. And then for the end-use sector, energy efficiency is a must, ranging from increasing fuel economy and promoting energy efficient appliances and better demand management. Electrification should also be pursued, especially to remove oil dependency. In addition, the shift to more use of end-use RE, including bioenergy and solar heating, should be promoted. Navigating secure and resilient energy transition should be the theme of the region energy system. All technology and policy options should be assessed in a comprehensive way, including efficiency, resource and materials availability, and end-of-life management. For more analysis, please download and read the report through this link. Thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Amira.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rika, for your thorough explanations about what is actually the AEO7, what is actually the scenarios and so forth. But I think it would be better to actually dive deep about what is actually the relation between the AEO7 and then the energy priorities this year as well for energy sectors. I would like to invite Dr. Andriah Abdullah, our senior researcher, to actually lead the sessions of these four figures that would actually be our panelists today. So without further ado, Dr. Andriah, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Amira, and thank you very much all the panelists for kindly giving us your valuable time. So we are honored to have you in this session. So let me invite one panelist first from Malaysia, I think, Miss Mareena Mahpudz. Okay, hello, Prof.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Hello. Waalaikumsalam. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for kindly giving your time and being as one of our panelists. So let me introduce Miss Mareena Mahpudz. Miss Mareena Mahpudz was born in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and she has served for 25 years in the public sector of Malaysia since 1998. This year is her 5th year in the electricity sector under the Ministry of Natural Resource, Environment and Climate Change. So her task is mainly to develop policy, strategies, and planning for the electricity sector. Her first honors degree was in pure chemistry from the Universiti Science of Malaysia and master in business administration, major in finance from University Putra Malaysia. So thank you very much again, and please we would like to invite you to share your thought or your opinion based on your expertise on energy priorities under your current affiliation. Thank you very much. So,
thank you, Dr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, and a very good evening. First of all, I would like to express my utmost gratitude and also many thanks to ASEAN Center of Energy ACE for inviting me to participate in today's webinar session. For this evening session, I would like to share some of the current progress on our generation plan and what are the assumptions and also moving forward, the initiative that we are going to do in order for us to achieve the targets that has been set in the country and also under the ASEAN region. So next slide. Okay, as you can see from the screen, and as every one of us here fully aware that the Malaysian energy policy is essentially guided by the 3 main principles in the energy trilemma, which has a very significant correlation between the energy security, the energy sustainability, and also the energy equity. So for any policy that has been developed in the country under the energy sector is then guided with these principles. So as you can see, under this energy trilemma principle, what Malaysia is going to do is actually to move towards the energy transition. As we know, all of the countries in the world nowadays are facing the same problem in terms to maintain the sustainability and also towards a more sustainable in terms of the climate change. So one of the issues that we are facing is actually to strike the balance, a very delicate balance for us to make it more affordable for the people, and also to ensure the security of supply, and also to ensure the sustainability for the country and also for the environment. So these are actually the main policy for the government is to embark into a very challenging, I would say a very challenging pathway for us to move towards energy transition. So I will also to reiterate again our commitment to fulfill the objective to achieve the net zero by the year 2050. So that is the target. We would like to achieve net zero carbon by the year 2050, and also to increase our renewable energy installed capacity by the year 2025 for 31%, and also 40% by the year 2035. 2040, 40%. So these are the targets that we hope to achieve, and we are moving towards that. So there will be more renewable energy in the fuel mix. And as we can say that currently Malaysia is much rely on the fossil fuel such as coal and also gas. But moving forward, we would like to see much more renewable energy in the fuel mix, such as solar, hydro, and also wind, if there's a possibility of to have wind into the system. And also we are looking also for exploring new technologies such as the usage of hydrogen, and also a small modular reactor, and also nuclear power in the long run. So as you can see from the slide, as for Malaysia, the government has pledged there will be no more new coal power plant. And also we are in the middle of reviewing some of the existing coal power plant before the expiry of the PPA. And on top of that, Malaysia also has done some studies under MESI, under Malaysia Electricity Supply Industry, MESI studies that we are also plan to develop and to explore more new knowledge in terms of the new technologies such as hydrogen and also SMR and also nuclear power. So we hope that with this kind of approach that we can achieve much more sustainable energy sector for the future. Next slide. Okay, under this slide, what I would like to share with the participant is that for us to compare between 2021 for Malaysia power generation plan and to compare with the 2022, the recent power generation plan. So as you can see from this slide, of course, the demand forecast in Malaysia is keep on growing, especially post-COVID, where all the economy sectors has been open. So you can see the GDP growth is extremely high. I mean, if you compare between 2021 and 2022, previously due to COVID, so the GDP growth is only around 3%, and now it has been spent, I think recently it is more than 10%, it's a double digit. So you can see that the need for power supply is increasing, especially the demand for renewable energy is increasing in Malaysia. And also the decision for the government to achieve the target of 21% renewable energy in the fuel mix we maintain the target 31% by 2025 and 40% by 2040. As for Peninsular Malaysia only, so we target for 26% for Peninsular Malaysia only, but for overall we target for 31%. And we hope with more renewable energy coming into the system, so we would be able to achieve the emission reduction target, which we has been pledged under the Paris Agreement, 45% of CO2 emission intensity reduction by the year 2030, and also 60% by the year 2035. So compared to the base year 2005. And on top of that, as you can see, we also have new power plants coming in. But please sure that there's no more new coal power plant. These are all gas power plants. So we hope that we can control the emission of the carbon. And also, we also face some challenges, especially after COVID, where I think every country in the world is facing in terms of the energy crisis, where the fossil fuel the price of the fossil fuel is getting higher, especially for coal and also for the gas, and also the demand for the gas in the market is extremely high. These are the challenges that we are facing. So you can see from the slide, if you compare the demand for 2022 and moving forward, there will be more EV coming into the country, electric vehicle. Therefore, the supply for the electric vehicle also keep on increasing. And plus with the more renewable energy coming into the system. And also you can see that there's a hydrogen there, the hydrogen, but previously in 2021, we don't have any plan to take hydrogen into the fuel mix, but now we do, maybe around 10% or 20% of hydrogen, but it still depends on the price. As we know, the price of hydrogen is extremely high. So in the long run, we are considering hydrogen and also other alternative fuels, maybe like small modular reactor or nuclear power in a very long run. But as of today, the policy of the government is still remain intact. There's no nuclear power. But in the future, these are new technologies that we are exploring to move into the much cleaner and much more sustainable environment. So I think that's all for the introduction. So I'm hoping if there's any question, maybe I'll take it later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mareena Mahpudz, for your kind sharing on the current Malaysia energy policy and planning. It's good to see the direction of the Malaysia in improving their energy policy planning. Yeah, thank you very much. So the second panelist will be from the initially we invite the Miss Andriah Feby Misna from the Indonesian Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resource, but unfortunately she is not available and will be represented by Mr. Praptomo Adi Sulistomo. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for kindly accepting our invitation, and thank you for being here. So let me introduce Mr. Praptomo Mr. Praptomo Adi Sulistomo. So Mr. Praptomo received his master's degree in electrical engineering, the University of New South Wales, Australia, and he is currently working as coordinator of investment and cooperation under the New Energy and Renewable Energy Division of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resource. So without further ado, we would like to hear your experience on the energy priorities in Indonesia, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the time, yeah. So representing Ibu Andriah Feby Misna, I try to share about the thoughts of about the development towards new NZE in Indonesia. Maybe about yes, as we already know that the government in Indonesia has target to achieve 23 of new and renewable energy mix in 2025. This is our short-term target. 2025 is nearby. Maybe it's about two years again from now, and so and also for the medium target in enhancing NDC in 2030. We expect that we reduce carbon emission reduction target from energy sector from 340 million tons of CO2 until up to 358 million tons of CO2. So our ambitious target about NZE or net zero emission, we expect to achieve in 2016. My apologies if there is some other noise in here because I am currently in the airport. So for 2060, we expect to achieve we achieve 2006 or sooner to reach a net zero emission. That the roadmap currently is in our we try to stipulate my apologies. The roadmap is we still on ongoing progress that we achieve in 2060 or sooner. We target that 100% of our energy will come from new renewable energy sources. That our installed NRE capacity will be around to the 708 gigawatt and from that, 60.2 gigawatt with energy storage. Also, we consider that the nuclear power plant will enter the electricity system in 2049 and about deployed in 2060 to maintain system stability. You can see in the graph that from 2060 we almost based on the solar PV and battery in the yellow color. So um, and also the next slide, please. Not yet, not yet. Oh, yes. And then this is our potential. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, and this is the potential about the potential development strategies that we have the several strategies to reach the target. Based that we have the abundant potential. Several strategies such as we try to achieve renewable energy development supported by a large amount of renewable potential that we have around 3,000 gigawatts. Some of the renewable energy programs, including on-grid renewable energy power plants that we currently based on PTPLN, PTPLN electricity plan 2021 until 2030, and to rooftop solar PV, converting diesel to new renewable power plant, mandatory biodiesel that we try now. Currently, we step into P35. Also, we try, another program is biomass co-firing at the coal power plant that we target in 2025 will be 10.2 million tons, and the provision of modern energy access with no renewable energy for some such scale, meaning hydro and solar, and then off-grid renewable implementation, direct utilization, and also the geothermal exploration by the government. And some other supporting program will be the gradual retirement of coal-fired power plant, energy efficiency, electrification on energy demand, application of smart grid and carbon tax and carbon trading. Next slide, please. So to support that, we have stipulated the presidential regulation for creating robust renewable energy the policy. That in the last September 2022. The objective is to increase renewable energy investment, accelerate renewable energy share, and also we improve beside pricing that you can see in the tables in the left side in the pricing for some renewable energy power plants type. We also try to improve renewable energy procurement and pricing mechanism. And then we are also encouraging the acceleration of qualified power plant termination or early retirement in this presidential regulation. So we believe that this policy and strategies will be in line and support the achievement of APAEC Phase II in 2021 until 2025, which also targeting 23% of renewable energy mix in 2025. Also focusing on accelerating energy transition in the region. And regarding the energy security is one of the focus now in the ASEAN. We try to prioritize this topic because energy security and energy resilience are very important in the current energy global now, and ASEAN region is blessed with abundant natural wealth, including huge renewable energy potential. So, as a region, we have to play an active role in strengthen our position in the global. So, as the Indonesian chairmanship in ASEAN, focus on making ASEAN a stable and peaceful region as the anchor of world stability. We aim to strengthen economic recovery, particularly from the COVID pandemic, and also make Southeast Asia as the world engine of sustainable growth. In the past decade, the ASEAN average annual growth reached the 3.98%, which is above the global economic growth with average 2.6%. This is why that energy security is our focus in Indonesian chairmanship. About the Indonesian priorities aligned with ASEAN under APAEC Phase II. This is the Indonesia chairman priorities in the energy sector is in line that in the theme of ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation APAEC 2016 and until 2025, which is that enhancing energy connectivity and manage market integration in ASEAN to achieve energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability for all. This theme is further strengthened in APAEC Phase II by the sub-theme of accelerating energy transition and strengthening energy resilience through the greater innovation and cooperation. So it can be seen that the theme of energy and connectivity is a it will be a very crucial role for ASEAN to achieve for energy security and the strengthen of energy resilience. So therefore, in Indonesia chairmanship, we propose sustainable energy security through interconnectivity as the political will for ASEAN member states to this matter. So I think, and the next is the role of the women in the energy sector. Energy transition needs to consider easy access and equal opportunity for everyone. So we have to realize that these activities can take up most of the woman's time. So this is for enhancing more productivity action. So particularly in the border area, the use of firewood also endangers the health of family, particularly women who do the cooking process of the tailoring in front of the stove. So as the subject, women can increase their involvement in the clean energy transition in such activities, such as first become extension workers in the utilization of a solar home system or solar lantern. The second, become the user of renewable energy such as household biogas or solar lantern. The third, have a business that sources from renewable energy such as solar chaos energy, where housewife can own grocery store, open land charging business, and also cell phone charging sourced from solar electricity. These three activities can be found in the border area and in the remote the off grid area. Then the fourth is participate in become the manager the renewable energy power plant. The fifth is become a technician in service company. And the sixth, the women can become the ambassador of energy efficiency. So there's some thoughts from us from Indonesia Shine, particularly from the next energy planning to reach NZA. Okay, thank you so much. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Adi. Thank you very much for kindly giving your time and also sharing the current priorities on energy sector in Indonesia. Also for sharing with us how the linkage between the energy sector in Indonesia with the regional target under APAEC, and also on the effort on strengthening the gender role in energy sector as well. Thank you very much again for kindly giving your time. I understand that you are in hurry because your flight will be depart from Bali. I think will depart from Bali at 2:30, right? Thank you very much again. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Pak
I will.
Adi.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So now let me invite our last panelist, Professor Haslenda Hashim. Okay, thank you, Prof, for kindly giving your time. So let me introduce Professor Insinyur Dr. Haslenda Hashim. She is a chair or dean of Resource Sustainability Research Alliance, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. She specializes in supply demand energy modeling and optimization, and also energy efficiency and conservation. She has been providing energy related training and technical consultancy services to the industry and the government in Malaysia. And also she received many awards. So we are very proud to have you as one of the panelists, because we also celebrate the International Women's Days actually in this month. So she also received many awards, like she is the recipient of the award top 2% scientist in 2019 and 2020, and top research scientist of Malaysia in 2020, and others. She also published more than 100 publication in journal, and also she is kindly guest editor of the Journal of the Cleaner Production of Energy, cleaner energy production, sorry. So without further ado, let me invite Professor Haslenda Hashim to give your presentation and sharing on energy priorities or development in your country. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, and sorry, very good afternoon to all. Sorry. Actually, I want to talk about what is the role of academia and what is the basically what is the assigned to me. What is the strategies or measure that will be prioritized to support ASEAN energy cooperation and connectivity goals? Okay, I'm Haslenda Hashim. First of all, I would like to thank ASEAN Center of Energy for inviting me to give some sharing about what the academia can contribute in order to support the ASEAN Energy Outlook 7. Okay, so if you look at the in terms of cooperation and connectivity goals, in ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation (APAEC 2006 to 2015), they actually have highlighted 7 strategies, 7 key strategies. And the first one is about I want to talk about energies and sustainability. So when you look at the energy and sustainability and trans-ASEAN gas pipeline, coal and clean coal technology, energy efficiency and conservation, renewable energy, regional energy policy and planning, and nuclear energy. So if I want to touch about nuclear energy, okay, so if you look at the renewable energy, so renewable energy based on the availability of renewable energy in each ASEAN countries. For example, in Malaysia, we have abundance of solar, but in other countries, for example, like Vietnam, they get access to wind energy, high speed of wind energy, and in Indonesia, they also can get access to geothermal. So every country has their own availability in terms of renewable energy. However, if you look at some of renewable energy, for example, like wind and solar, the big challenge is actually in terms of intermittency. Intermittence. So that's why if you look at the AEO7, it is clearly stated that nuclear power installed capacity needs to double by mid-century if the world is aimed to achieve net zero emissions. And without nuclear, the energy transition will be far more complex, take far longer, and be much more expensive. But if you look at the survey in AEO7, actually some country already implemented or already have a plan in terms of nuclear energy. However, in Malaysia, currently we don't have any stand or we don't have any decision in terms of to proceed or not to proceed in nuclear energy. So meaning there is no nuclear energy in Malaysia at this moment. However, if you look at the statistic under energy public survey in ASEAN, more than 50% respondent actually agree to have nuclear energy in their countries, because if you look at nuclear energy, actually is a clean energy, as 70% less CO2 compared to coal, and 40% less than gas, and it is even clear. It claims that scientifically it's claimed that it is clear, even clearer as compared to solar and hydro. Okay. However, if for example we still want to proceed with renewable energy, for example like solar or wind, there is a crucial to balance the intermittency of renewable energy source by focusing on energy storage. Battery require low maintenance, easy to operate, and can have higher energy capacity. Another option is hydrogen storage. So currently, I think is becomes a hot issue. Every country now moving towards hydrogen. However, hydrogen is still expensive at this moment, but based on our analysis, it will be the cost will become matured maybe after 2030, 2040, and the price will drop based on the technology maturity. The advantage of hydrogen because it actually has higher volumetric density, so meaning it can carry more energy, and it also can last for longer time as compared to the battery. Okay. Another things regarding the opportunity towards ASEAN Energy Cooperation and Connectivity Goals. In AEO7, actually they are exploring the optimization scenario in power sector, and the optimization method can be further expanded to other sector beyond power. Okay, this will provide better analysis such as selections of technology options in the transportation sector, and the methodology can also be applied to the primary AEO scenario, such as the ATS and APS, especially for long-term projection. And another thing is AEO7 also can be utilized to model various specific policy measures, both at the national and regional level, based on the interests of the stakeholders. Okay, in terms of energy trade, so if you talk about the cooperation and connectivity goals, if you look at the ASEAN power grid, so what we need at this moment is basically in terms of policy, because there is no clear policy in terms of regional multilateral energy electricity trading, and also strengthen grid resilience and modernization and promote clean and renewable energy. So in this case, in terms of policy, we have to look at how the electricity trading between the countries can happen in terms of technology, and also high voltage underwater transmission line, especially to connect islanded region like Indonesia and Philippines. Okay, if I talk about trans-ASEAN gas pipelines, another opportunity to look into it is in terms of natural gas pipeline, which is similar to that for the power transmission, but again, a strong policy is required. And if, for example, the natural gas is limited, it is a very costly to construct a long pipeline, unless in the future it can be adapted for hydrogen. or it can be blend with the hydrogen when the technology become mature, probably in another 20 to 40 years. Okay, so and when we touch about coal and clean coal technology, we can discuss in terms of the current clean coal technologies at this moment, basically based on the combined cycle coal-fired power plant. However, that is still not as competitive as other technology, for example, like biomass, hydrogen, and other renewable energy. Okay, so that's the reason in Malaysia, the government actually decided to shut off the coal-fired power plant by 2030. And actually in this aspect, we have an opportunity as academia to look into, for example, like hydrogen blending, for example, or replace or substitute the coal-fired power plant with hydrogen blending with natural gas, and also look at the potential of producing of green hydrogen. Okay, all right. Now moving on to the energy efficiency and conservations. I think ASEAN actually is very serious about energy efficiency and conservation. And in fact, in ASEAN, we have ASEAN Energy Management System, EMAS, which actually emphasizes on the energy management system. And actually, in this aspect, the module can be implemented throughout ASEAN countries. And currently, there is also a negotiation between AJID, between Japan and also ASEAN Center of Energy, to improve the module to include thermal energy, so what we call it CMAS. And this is one of the capacity building that important to produce more competent persons to embrace energy efficiency and conservation in building in industry. And in terms of renewable energy, I can say that actually in Malaysia there is quite a slow deployment, mainly due to implementation costs, because I think everyone agreed that if you compare to other fossil fuel, renewable energy is currently still expensive. However, if you consider carbon penalty in the future, then probably renewable energy can become competitive. Yeah? So in this aspect, I would say that will be great if, for example, ASEAN can establish the energy benchmarking for energy intensive industry, for example, like power plants. So if we can apply cap and track mechanism, if, for example, the industry exceed certain benchmarking, then they have to pay the penalty. So by doing that, actually, we can push forward more cleaner energy, and also it can make the renewable energy become more competitive through energy penalty that need to be paid by more polluted industry. All right, and I think everyone agree, and I think previous speakers also highlighted the importance of policy advancements to accelerate region's transition and resilience. So in this aspect, probably we can call for roundtable discussion, but if there is a wide-scale feasibility study taking into account the limitation of each region to identify what is doable and what can, it would give a clearer picture to decide what are the best options that ASEAN as a region can adopt. So I think that's all my sharing at this moment. Pass to you, Mr. MC, Mrs. MC. Thank you.
It's okay. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Haslenda Hashim, for kindly sharing your thoughts on how important of the academia contribution and also the various opportunity that we can improve under key program area of the APAEC. So now let us go to the discussion session. Let me invite our three speaker or three panelists, Madam Mareena Mahpudz and Professor Haslenda Hashim and Ms. Rika Safrina. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me start question to Madam Mareena Mahpudz. Considering the 2023 represent the midpoint of the APAEC Phase II, what are the current policy and directive of the ASEAN leader, including Malaysia? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Well, actually, as for Malaysia, the current directive definitely towards the energy transition for the future. As for Malaysia, the Minister of Energy currently also has made an official launch for the Malaysia Energy Transition Outlook. So this energy transition outlook is aimed at reducing the reliance on fossil fuel, increasing the energy efficiency, and also to promote the use of renewable energy sources. And this is very important because through the outlook that we can know what are the steps that need to be taken to forecast and also to take action for the future in order to achieve the target of reducing the carbon emission and also to achieve the target of the net zero by 2050. So the directive is very simple actually. I believe every country in the ASEAN also having the same aspiration towards net zero carbon. But in order to implement all the initiative is very challenging. So as I've presented before, when we do a policy or also we do a mapping or forecast, it is always we stand guided by the three principles of the energy trilemma in order to ensure the security of supply and also the affordability of people to pay, and also to ensure the sustainability of the ecosystem. And as for Malaysia, definitely we increase more renewable energy, especially solar, into the system through various of our program. As all of us here knows that Malaysia also have a program like the net energy metering, and also we have FIT, in tariff. For these two programs, the minister recently has announced more allocation, more quota for these two programs, the FIT and also the NEM. And also, as for Malaysia, we also introduced, I think it was last year, it was launched for the corporate green power program, the corporate PPA, for the businesses to have more option for them to procure renewable energy to meet their commitment for the ESG. And beside that, we also have a program under the virtual PPA. So these are the programs that has been established in Malaysia to support the agenda of energy transition. And in the meantime, we also enhance the implementation of communication, education, and public awareness, especially to promote wider uptake for the rooftop solar program. Okay, to have more solar. We do have large scale solar before this, but for nowadays we are promoting more if we can do rooftop solar in the building, the government building, the private sector buildings. These are one of the things that we promote. And beside that, we also promote the interest of especially in the ASEAN region to have a cross-border trade, okay, to enhance our cross-border integration, especially under the ASEAN Power Grid. So as you know that currently for Malaysia, we do have, before this, we do have like Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, LTM. And now we do have like Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore, LTMS. And also we are exploring also the possibility to have integration between Indonesia also, And Sabah, I believe that they already signed MOU, integration between Kalimantan and also Sabah State. And also we are exploring also to upgrade our interconnection between Thailand and Malaysia, and also to explore the possibility having more renewable coming from Vietnam. There's also a potential there. So as you can see, the cross-border trade is becoming quite an important agenda nowadays. So we wish that Malaysia to become the center, the hub of the ASEAN for the trading of the renewable energy. That is what we are hoping for, actually. This will create not only win-win situation for Malaysia, but also it will benefit other countries in the ASEAN region. So there will be a power trading, not only from renewable energy, but it also can come from the brownfield like gas, and definitely it's not going to be coal, because the government has pledged there will be no more new coal power plant. So there's some say that the possibility to retire early for the existing coal power plant, but then to retire early for the coal power plant, I think that will involve a very high cost to the government, because as you know, for all the power plant, they have their own PPA agreement, the power purchase agreement, and most likely moving forward, we are not going to phase out earlier at this point of time. I make it very clear that, because most of the people, they thought when we have a coal power plant, we want to retire it early, but there's some proposal also coming to us in depth whether we want to retire early for the coal power plant. But then when we see how much the cost involved is a very huge cost. So these are the things that we need to balance. As we know, it is good by having more renewable energy into the system, but in the same time, I also want to express that renewable energy is not cheap, because most of us, we thought that putting solar, and then you have you can reduce your electricity bill and so on, but into the system there are many other costs that need to take into consideration, such as upgrading the system, the integration, and for you to overcome the intermittent issues. As for Malaysia, we have not yet having battery into the system. We have not yet, because we can see that the cost is still high for battery. But in our generation planning, I think is as early as 2030, we will have our trial for the first battery storage to couple with the solar. So we will see. The directive of the government to achieve the target of net zero by 2050. And I also want to highlight again that as of today, the government policy, there is no nuclear energy, but moving forward, I mean, in the long run, especially 2040 and beyond, of course, we need to explore the new technologies such as the SMR, the civilian nuclear power, and so on. Because in order for you to meet the target of the net zero by 2050, then you need more fuel mix into the system. And by having the nuclear power or SMR or hydrogen, that will help for us to achieve the target of net zero by 2050. So that is the direction. Briefly, we are moving towards energy transition, and we hope under the ASEAN region that we can support each other, and also for us to enhance more in terms of our integration and also our cross-border trading. I think that's for now. I think maybe later on I can have again another questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, Thank you, Madam Mareena Mahpudz, for your kind explanation. I totally agree about the importance of the enabling policy in supporting the implementation of the energy transition priority, and also the importance of the regional interconnection or regional cooperation among the ASEAN, particularly in the ASEAN power grid interconnection. Yeah, thank you very much. So now let me move to Ms. Rika Safrina, our MPP officer. So let me ask Ms. Rika Safrina. So based on the AEO7 finding and recommendation, what do you think would be the necessary next step would be needed to complete the APAEC Phase 1 and Phase 2 at the moment? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Andriah, for your question. So as I have shared during my presentation before, in the demand side, the ASEAN should enhance EV deployment, fuel economy, mass public transport, clean cooking, efficient appliances, and industrial efficiency. Meanwhile, on the supply side, ASEAN should improve grid infrastructure, flexibility, interconnection, digitalization in the power system, and dispatchability of RE, such as hydropower, geothermal, and bioenergy. But other than this demand and supply side efforts, transitioning into higher renewable energy generations requires regulatory interventions and financing. Several programs have been implemented by ASEAN member states, including feed-in tariffs, tendering, net energy metering, as mentioned by Madam Mareena before. And then there is also a biofuel mandate in Indonesia, renewable portfolio standard, renewable energy certificates, and carbon taxes like in Singapore. So these policies aim to increase the RE uptake by stimulating the energy market. Public investments, loans, grants, capital subsidies, or rebates are also very helpful, where government or private investors can finance RE and clean energy projects. And similar to RE deployments, improving the energy efficiency of the region would also require financial drivers. In some regions, financial incentives in the form of tax rebates, subsidies, grants, and loans are I think it's seen to be effective in encouraging technology adopters, such as for EV component manufacturers. In addition, I think the establishment of public-private partnerships, such as Energy Service Company or ESCO, to promote solutions to commercial and industrial facilities are also very helpful. They will reduce financial risk in energy efficiency and conservation projects. These policies have been proven effective in several member states and may also be implemented in other member states that are seeking to enhance their energy efficiency financing policies. Yeah, I think that's all, Dr. Andriah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Rika, for your kind explanation. So I agree we need to manage both sides, energy demand and also energy supply. And in addition, we also need to consider the necessary or improving the finance. That would be the key driver for managing both energy demand and energy supply. Yeah, thank you very much for your kind explanation. So let me move to Professor Haslenda Hashim. Okay, Prof. We would like to know in the point of view of the academia society, what do you think of what kind of the technologies, strategies, or measure do you think could be prioritized to support the key program area of the ASEAN energy cooperation and also the connectivity in the region? Yeah, thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Andriah. So I think there is a lot of opportunity for the academia to contribute towards enhancing the cooperation between all ASEAN countries. So I think the first of all, what we need to do is basically to understand what is the policy for each country. For example, some country, they are now start to implement or start to to talk about emission trading, or even though it's a voluntary basis, right? So at this in this aspect, actually, as an academia, we have to look at what will be what is the benchmarking. What is the benchmarking for, especially for the energy intensive industry? Like in Singapore, they already have the baseline. So every industry that emit 25,000 metric ton of CO2 per year, something like that, they have to pay a certain penalty, right? So I think this is among the things that probably as an academia we can explore, and also we can basically push forward this agenda for to push forward the agenda of renewable energy in our country. And not only that, I think hydrogen economy is also a big opportunity for ASEAN countries, yeah, and especially for the countries that already have a policy to phase out coal-fired power plant in the future, and also like again in Singapore, they also has a policy to ban all internal combustion engine, right? So in this aspect, probably as an academia, we can look at the how the readiness in terms of implementations of electrical vehicles in our countries. Not only that, if for example our grid electricity is still rely on the fossil fuel, then actually our aim to reduce emission through electrical vehicle actually is not meet the goal. Yeah, so we have to try to look at the potential of renewable energy that can supply to the for electrical vehicle. For example, like variable renewable energy that can supply to for electrical vehicle in order to reduce the emissions from transportation sector, for example, energy fuel for transportation sector. So that is among the things that probably as an academia we can try to deep dive, and also try to look at that the opportunity of research, yeah, hydrogen, what else in terms of hydrogen economy, in terms of what else, regional energy policy and planning. I think that this is a must, because if we talk about cooperation between ASEAN countries, I think this is must be very clear. So is it possible, for example, renewable energy from other countries sell to other countries that emit more emission, for example, that is permitted? If for example we have more reserve margin, so is it possible for us to buy green energy from other countries? So this policy, I think, is still not clear at this moment, and is actually very much indeed to basically to enhance the cooperations between cooperation and connectivity between ASEAN countries. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Haslenda, for your kind explanation on the point. So I agree with the important, or maybe the potential application of the carbon pricing mechanism in terms of the carbon tax or emission trading system in the region, and also the strengthen the implementation or the exploring the opportunity for the new technologies such as green hydrogen. Hydrogen economy you mentioned, maybe, yeah, and also we need to also pay attention on the readiness of the implementation of the RE project and also EE project in the region, and more clear policy is needed for enhancing the regional cooperation, particularly in the ASEAN power grid interconnection. So let me move again to our colleague, Ms. Rika Safrina. So, Ms. Rika Safrina, I would like to know your opinion how AEO7, that's the ACE important flagship product, could become the tool that's supporting the APAEC target and also enhancing the effort of the region to achieve this target. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ambia. So since 2006, actually, the AEO has become one of the most important documents to support ASEAN energy policy and planning. It is guided by APAEC under the Regional Energy Policy and Planning Program area, as stated in Professor Haslenda's slide. Specifically, there is an action plan that stated to publish regional energy outlooks and strategic reports on the thematic issues. So AEO7 comes on that. So over the past several years, the primary objective of AEO has remained the same, to support the creation of pathways for achieving regional targets. The energy policies and targets of 10 ASEAN member states were used to drive the ATS scenario. And then also the long collaboration within the IMS is extended to the development of the APS scenario, the regional target scenario. So we note all the inputs from the member states on the strategies to achieve the regional targets outlined in the APAEC. We had several workshops with the ASEAN member state focal points during the data collection, data validation, to validate the data and policies that we have collected for the outlooks. And then this AEO7 expands bottom-up approach to energy demand in all sectors. Previously in AEO6, the bottom-up approach was used only in transportation and residential sector. But here in AEO7, also disaggregate the commercial and industrial sectors. This enhancement of our approach allows each national model within AEO7 to be adjusted based on the country's characteristics. So the strong involvement of ASEAN member states in developing AEO7 provides a better understanding of the energy trends and challenges in a realistic way of the ASEAN that ASEAN faces in the ASEAN faced before and also in the coming decades. So AEO7 provides a projection based on capacity of IMS, which can be used as a reference by the ASEAN leaders to plan for the next APAEC cycle. I think that's all, Dr. Ambia.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rika Safrina. So if I may summarize, AEO7 is not only the flagship product, but it actually is our tool to track or to monitor and also to support the efforts toward the region to achieve the APAEC target. So we can say like AEO7 is from ASEAN, by ASEAN, and to ASEAN. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So now let me move to Madam Mareena Mahpudz. So as we are, I think the MC also mentioned that this month we are celebrating the International Women's Day. So that's by happen we have all the panelists are women speaker. So let me yes, let me ask you. Let me ask you is what is your perspective on the role of women in the ASEAN plan of the action for energy cooperation that we call APAEC, and how can their participation be further enhanced to achieve the energy related goals of APAEC? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, the role of women in APAEC, I think, is very, very crucial and also very essential in achieving the goal of APAEC. And I believe women play a very critical role in the energy sector, and also we are also women are the key stakeholders in energy planning and also decision making. So I think in my opinion, the role that is played by women actually, especially, okay, we can see here, I mean, all the speakers are women actually. So in terms of planning, in terms of decision making, I think the role of women are very crucial. And as for Malaysia, the government also, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, the government has set a target that at least 30% of women in decision making in Malaysian agency. So as of end of 2021, women holding decision making position in government agencies in Malaysia has achieved a target of 38.2% in all sectors, not only energy but in all sectors. So as we can see that women play a very important role, but however, if we look into the technical aspect, I mean technical and operational side of, especially in the energy sector, like at the power plant, or also like at the oil and gas sector, I can say that the participation in from women is still relatively low, because when it comes to technical matters and also operational side, for the energy industry is still dominated by men. I mean, the male. But as for decision making, and also in terms of academician, and also women working in the office, also in the decision making, in doing the planning, and also in doing the policy, I think there are many women involved, and I think they are playing a very important role to achieve the target that has been set by the country, and also in the ASEAN region, not only in the energy sector, but also in other sectors as well. And in this area also, I would like to highlight, I mean, the role of women actually is not only being in the office or in the working place, but also women play a very important role at home. I mean, in educating the children, and in the education sectors. You know, for the energy industry, we can see that there are so women becoming like teachers, you know, lecturers. You know, these are the manpower that we can use in order for us to convey the message. I mean, as for energy under the APAEC, so we can use I mean to further to ensure the message has been conveyed. I mean, to the target. I mean, to the student, or to household. I mean, so they are playing a very important role for them to convey the message. What as a government has been done? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we planning under the ASEAN? So these are the roles that they can play, not necessarily in the energy sector only, but also across other sectors. That is my opinion. I mean, the role of women are very crucial and very significant. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mareena Mahpudz. I totally agree with your statement. The role of women is very crucial. It's not only as we cannot say like maybe we can say, sorry, the woman should not be only the substitute, but we can also the key player in decision making. But yeah, I also agree with your point that we still need a lot of efforts in how to say, raising awareness of the woman itself. That's actually they can participate more, not only in the decision making, but also in other area. That's maybe we need the Professor Haslenda Hashim support as a academia to translate. That's kind of the mission.
Like Madam Chair, just I want to share, like, you know, when we are talking about energy efficiency, you know, to educate the children, you know, the student. So most of the women, they are in the educational sectors, you know, becoming teachers, becoming lecturers. So these are their role. I mean, to ensure that the message has been cascading down. I mean, to the student, to our children, saying what are the important message in the energy efficiency, you know, energy literacy. This I think this is a very crucial role for women to play.
Yes, I totally agree with that point. And let me move to Professor Haslenda Hashim, because Madam Mareena Mahpudz just mentioned about the important role of academia to enhance the woman participation. So let me ask you about giving the importance of gender mainstreaming in sustainable energy development. What are the role of women in the ASEAN energy sector? Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, it's continuation of the first question. Thank you.
I just want to recap and to highlight the report by International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, So they actually highlighted that women working in renewable energy sector worldwide is actually achieved up to 32%. And while the proportion of women working in the conventional fuel is 22%. So meaning it shows that actually more women are involved in renewable energy sector. Yeah, but personally, I believe women now should not be viewed that they are lacking of any form of capability to fill any roles, especially in the ASEAN energy sector. I myself actually are actively involved not only in research, but also in the consultation work with the industry. Actually, we are actually helps the industry to improve the boiler, for example. We are working on site, and then we also climb the ladder and so on. So what I would like to highlight, actually, women has the capability, but yes, in certain aspect, probably not, but most of it, I would say that actually women has the capability to do what the man can do, and especially in energy sector. So because I think that is from my experience. I'm also the energy auditor. I'm also giving a training. I'm also going to collect the data in industry and so on. So yeah, so women can do it, inshallah.
Thank you, Professor Haslenda Hashim. We are very glad to have you as a one panelist. So you are the concrete example that women can also contribute a lot in the energy sector as well. So, okay, thank you very much again for kindly giving your valuable time. Due to time limitation, yeah, with regret, let me close this discussion session, and let me give to Amira, my colleague, as a MC of this webinar. Thank you very much again for your time and contribution.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andriah, for your excellent moderations. And I think a very exciting sessions as well, because we actually heard not only from the energy sector as per technology per se, analysis per se, but also like even from personal experiences for women in energy. Thank you so much for all the great speakers for today's attendance and participations. And we are actually now in the closing sessions of today's webinar. But before we end, I would like to share next, please. So thank you for your participations, and once again promote our flagship report of ASEAN Center for Energy, the 7 ASEAN Energy Outlook, or AEO7, that can be downloaded here. So if you have your phone right now, you can actually scan the barcode, or if you are not with your devices right now, maybe you can take a screenshot of this page, and all of this information will actually be available for you in your email right after our sessions today. So thank you so much for your time, and we will see you each other soon, perhaps in other events. So stay tuned on our social media. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.